Good morning, second graders. Today is, excuse me, today is Wednesday and it is April 15th and it is week 3, day 5 in our learning packets. So let's get started on our learning targets and then we'll go through any worksheets that we need to go through. All right. Okay, so our learning targets for reading this week are using what you know about spelling patterns to read and write. And then in writing, we're working on poetry all week. And then in our math, we are fluently adding and subtracting within 20. And you are also working on hundreds, tens, and ones. And it looks like for math, you have one worksheet. All right, so let's get into the worksheets. Okay, so your first reading worksheet is a vocabulary practice page, and it looks like that. Okay, so what you're doing is you're going to pick 2 vocabulary words. You could even go back and pick a word from here, from this page. Or you could pick 2 words from this page. That would be good words to choose. If you're stuck on what words to use, just go back and look at your worksheets that you've done this week and pick a couple words from there. And then your next step, after you pick those 2 words, you need to write a sentence and draw a picture that matches the sentence that you wrote. Okay? Okay, so you're writing with poetry this week. Your poem for today is called Jelly Bean Tree. And it looks like that. It's that second page of poems right there in the corner, Jelly Bean Tree. And for your questions today, you're going to answer some of these kinds of questions. Do you think there is such a thing as a jelly bean tree? Why do you think that? Would you like to have a jelly bean tree? Why do you say that? And then you're going to read the poem and use the right expression and emphasis the best you can. And then you will answer these kinds of questions. What do you have to do to get a jelly bean tree to grow? How would you know if the jelly bean tree is going to grow? What could you do with all those jelly beans besides eating them? And what other type of tree would you like to grow? And then at the end of those questions, you might come up with a question on your own and maybe ask your sibling or parent to help you answer that. All right, and then for the vocabulary part, if you look here, that bottom section, the vocabulary section says read the poem again and then focus on the words scratchy, magical, and discuss what they mean and other words that might mean the same. All right, and then the next part, reading with fluency, make sure you read the poem again and use your punctuation marks to help you read the right way and use lots of expression. And then the phonics section, that next section right there, that phonics section, you are going to listen to the word scratchy and hear what the sound is at the end of the word scratchy. And then you write the word Y or write the letter Y because that's what makes the E sound at the end of words, scratchy. What other sounds in the poem have that same sound at the end? There's a lot of different ones. So find all the words that have that long E sound at the end of their word, and then underline if it's in the middle of the word or the beginning of the word, underline any other words that have the long E sound. And then focus on the word your, and then just talk about the word your. If you look here, that word your, and talk about what a contraction is. If you remember from when we've talked about contractions many times, contractions are 2 little words put together to make a bigger word with an apostrophe. Okay, and then the last day for the poetry this week, for the creating section, you're going to read the poem out loud and you can clap it, you can make a rap, you can make a dance, whatever floats your boat. Okay, and then your last worksheet for this week's learning packet is the math worksheet for day 5. And these ones are 2-digit numbers that you are working with. And again, show your work. Use scratch paper, write an equation just like we do at school. So let's read number 1 together. Tony has 37 building blocks. Then he buys more blocks. Now he has 51 blocks. How many blocks does Tony buy? So the same that we've been practicing on the other worksheets this week, it's helpful to visualize it. So if you read the poem, try to picture in your mind, even maybe drawing a picture might help. Think of what's going on in the story problem to help you figure out the equation. It's always easiest, in my opinion, to make an equation first and then try to solve it, because that is sometimes the trickiest part, knowing what equation truly matches the problem. So that first one, Tony has 37 blocks, then he buys more. That would be 37 would be our first number, because that's how many he started with. And then he buys some more, so we're going to add. He's not giving them away or selling them. He's buying, but he's buying more. We don't know. It just says he buys more, so that's the blank. And then when he ends up with 51, you are solving for that middle number. Okay? So really it just helps to write your equation first to make sense of the problem and then try to solve using your favorite strategy. Okay? All right, you guys. So that's our instructional video for today. Don't forget our Zoom meetings today at 10 o'clock, so I hope to see you all there. And today's theme is going to be playing games. So we'll have lots of fun, hopefully laugh, enjoy ourselves. And I know it's not that nice out today, but it's still not too cold. I know you guys have been playing, you've played outside before in colder weather at school. So maybe you'll get outside today, okay? All right, we'll see you guys in a little bit.